Okay. Good afternoon from New York. Today, kind of a long title. You know me, I'm a little verbose. But anyway. Helping the mind with role play and meditation. Krishna, Jesus, and Buddha speaking the love of three forms of empathy. And that's what I'm going to address today. How do we do this? This is, we teach a form of echo mind or echo love. I don't know why I say that. Maybe I need to change the name. Echo love, inner mind communication. There are different forms of inner mind communication out there. This is one. And to me, it's far superior to anything else that I've seen, but the other things have their merits. Just one of six practices, the six practices can do wonders. And there are six practices to this system that involve role play and forms of role play and forms of meditation. Now, there are three forms of empathy that are useful, that are the targets, the aim of the three role plays. And one is creative empathy, which Krishna's teachings alluded to, and more so. And objective empathy, which the teachings of the Buddha pointed toward, and compassionate empathy, which the teachings of Jesus pointed toward. So and then there's a part of you that is your dramatic self that needs communication with these forms of empathy, which are actually forms of love. And from this you get trust, a greater trust, and skill at giving and receiving love, the love flow. And all right. So this love flow is what is at the core of the teachings of these mystics I mentioned, and also of the mystic Muhammad, may peace be upon him, who taught total submission or trust in the higher power, which consists of these three forms of empathy, the source of all love. Okay, so how do you use these three forms of empathy? Well, you have to imagine yourself at about 6 years of age. The dramatic self, your more emotional self, the part of you that is more emotionally impacted by what happens to you and by what you do. And it needs communication with each of these forms of empathy or love. And so in a sense, there's a part of you that's more like Krishna, which is your inner artist in this system. We call it the inner artist. And there's a part of you that's more like Jesus, which is more about emphasizing compassionate empathy. And the Buddha, who emphasized objective empathy. And Muhammad, who pushed for faith and trust in this higher source, higher source of love. Yeah. So you've got all of these characters in your mind. How do you do it in a role play situation? Well, to connect with empathetic, compassionate empathy, talk to people that are important to you, that you should love, or who should have loved you, people that did love you and who you did love. And just talk, because each time you choose a different person in your mind to talk to, you're changing between the compassionate empathy and your dramatic self. You're feeling the love that you're creating, and that's true in all of these all of these role plays. But here, it's more like the present, looking into the past. It's about the present and the past, and integrating the good in the past, and eliminating times of unlearning, times of for feelings of helplessness around receiving and giving love that occurred in your past, which is a healing of your mind. And then your kid, I call it, your dramatic self, communicates in this other role play that is with your self is more like the Buddha, that expresses objective empathy, caring for you, understanding for you, in a caring way, in a sharing, caring way. And that is more about your present and your future. So what's going on now, and that could be thoughts about the past, whereas the other approach, you're actually reliving. You're reliving the past. Here you're not. You would just talk about the past as in the past with your more objective self, but you're more involved and focused on the present, looking into the future. You're communicating between yourself as like a kid about 6 years of age, in like kind of emotional state. And you're talking to the most adult, objective person you can be. The one more like the Buddha. And then you're talking in your mind to the inner artist in you, which is the imaginer of all you imagine. And this imaginer of all you imagine is above your timeline, able to envision your dramatic timeline as if, and enjoy it vicariously. So it's always in a state of happiness, basically, a kind of heaven, and calls to you to seize your movie, your story of your life, enjoys it, but calls you to find greater meaning and love in your story by being the hero of love in that story. So it's calling you to your better self. And the way that happens is, it can create memories for you. It's a kind of, your inner artist you can do guided meditation for you, and for you to experience and to respond to. Also, you can make requests. You know, how do I approach this or that? And your creative self, your inner artist, tries to respond with a number of different perspectives, perhaps. It gives birth to an artfulness in your life, which I call a virtue. The virtue of goodness, of course, from compassionate empathy, and the virtue of truth from objective empathy. So those are the three role plays that you can do, or that others can help you with. Now, the forms of meditation or simple awareness focuses on your bodily sensations and emotions, which really have no words. You're moving outside of the domain of language communication. You're entering into what I call the infant mind. Now, in the infant mind, you will experience things like knowing that you don't have a continuous, unchanging self. I mean, you enter into a state in which you have no self-concept. So there's not a self there, or the self is everything, or the self could be anything. It's very flexible position, and there really isn't. That's on reflection. You see it that way, but actually there's no ego, no self-concept. So there's three different approaches there, forms of meditation. One form is to meditate, just simply meditate and be aware of the sensations in your body and the emotions that you're feeling, and just focus on them. Whatever it is, don't stress. Just focus on whatever comes to you, and focus intently. And that will cause your mind to move on from that focus. And if it does, that's fine. Focus on the next thing that your body is telling you, and just focus intently on it. Practice your focus. Now, the next, I don't know which would be next, but you have an ability to be at play with your feelings. And to do that, that's more like mantra yoga. The first was more like dhyana yoga forms, and this one's more mantra or sound. And your aim here is to be playful with what you're feeling, and people do that with music. That's very helpful. They do that with chanting. You chant until the words mean nothing. Or you can use scat. The practice here is to use a form of like scat in music, or simply you can just state, I don't know how to put this. It's, the scat is like, su-dum-ba-doo-bam-ba-doom-bam-boom, and you can do that in a more negative or positive way, whatever helps you feel better, which is the game of here with all of these practices. What makes you most comfortable to do. And so you can do that as like a form of scat, or you can just make up sounds again but just state them like you're talking. And you're connecting at the same time to that awareness of sensation and feeling and so on. So it's ramping it up a little bit in some ways, and getting rid of language and keeping you out of a self-concept, and opening you up to pure awareness. And the other approach is more like prana yoga. It uses your breath in order to express emotion and feeling, sensations, but with sounds like ow and ah and ooh and that sort of thing. So whatever moves you, but ah, ooh, is sufficient. You can express feeling with ah and ooh and that's a positive example. And you're breathing in deep, and then that gets you in touch more with your feelings, and then you're expressing the feelings in a way, again, in a different way, in a very deep way. And the negative might be or ow, whatever comes out as you're breathing in and out with emotion and feeling. And believe it or not, these are complementary one to the other, and can take you to a reliving and an unlearning of helplessness around your situation in the past before you had language. So you're expressing needs as a baby would, as an infant. This is a journey into your infant mind. It's from the infant mind that, and these abilities, that the forms of empathy came to be. Compassionate empathy helps people to feel free to express their feelings, and so expression of feeling and compassion, they were complementary. That developed as social animals, that developed as a help to the expression. And whereas the focus developed into an ability to be more objective, and play developed into the ability to create play. Yeah, more so. And so that's how, from the time that you were just an infant until the time that you became more self-aware, this is how you developed. And practicing these things should come naturally. And and so it's about 20 minutes in, 19. I would encourage you to subscribe to the channel if you find this resonates with you. There's more in-depth connections that I could make with this. This pattern is something you see in institutions and society, and in the 3-generation family, which I've discussed in other videos. Ask questions. That's how we on the channel can try to answer. And we hope whatever country you're in that you are on the side of democracy, because democracy means individual human rights and freedoms, and that's what helps with the development of forms of empathy, which are at the root of our virtues. And so please vote, and if you have the power to vote or work toward a democracy wherever you're at. And when you're making a decision, like in the United States for now, we have a big contrast between a very empathetic guy and one who's seemingly not at all, or very, very lacking. And there's no reason to be hateful to anyone who supports either candidate. Just be compassionate and creative, and be able to see the beauty that's in all people, and also try to be objective. Which candidate seems to have the skills that you're looking for. But remember the importance of empathy. And the philosophy of the echo love would tell you to vote accordingly. So, all right. I like to end my presentations with a blessing, an Irish blessing. And I did put it to a tune so I wouldn't forget it. And I now share it with you. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rain fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Or her hand, or its hand, however you see the source of all love. And I love to end with Namaste, because it means what the great physicist Carl Sagan said. We are the universe, knowing itself. Isn't that marvelous? So when you see another person, see the wonder that they are, and try to appreciate them and the story of their life, and call to them as the artist to be the hero of love in their story. And do that in your own story. And be thankful to the blessings that others give, and it will return to you. You can make a better day. You can. Be the hero of love today, in whatever way you feel able. And if that means reaching out for help, that's good too, because it's part of the love flow. There's no giving without receiving, and no receiving without giving. Bless your life, and let love rule it. Namaste.